What's going on, guys? My name is MrHurriicane, and I'm very excited to bring you guys this video. And as you guys know or probably know, especially with my video earlier this week, I've been doing a ton of grinding in the last few weeks, slider testing for this game, Madden 25, trying to get a slider set ready to begin my brand new franchise series with the St. Louis Rams. And I announced I'd be playing as the Rams 2 days into Madden, and since then I haven't done anything for the series besides slider test. And it's been a really tough process this year, but last night I came across the set and I input the settings correctly, I guess, and I got a very good game, and you're watching it right now. I'm playing as the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Kansas City Chiefs, and these are Charter sliders from Operation Sports, link in the description. And his sliders have also been advertised on the Madden 25 main screen as an Operation Sports approved set to download from the Madden share. I input the sliders myself, and I got a really good game. I think his thread on the forums is a little bit more updated than the thread, or the Madden share, I'm not sure. I downloaded the Madden share the other night, played him, didn't have a very good game, but I was also messing with things in Connected Franchise. And I think this year, I mean, I'm not sure how valid this is, but I've seen very poor games when I'm inputting slider sets in Connected Franchise in the mode itself, especially compared to just putting them on the main screen and importing them into Connected Franchise. And people have pointed this out on the forums over there at Operation Sports, that there seems to be a difference, especially in the challenge that you get from the computer. And so I made sure I edited nothing in Connected Franchise. All of the changes, the penalties, game options, everything was made in the main menu and then imported into Connected Franchise. And this is the game that I got. It was one of the first real challenges that I got, and I had tried a slider set before this. I played I think 3 or 4 games last night, testing sliders until 3 in the morning, and I tried armor and sword sliders from Operation Sports, and his gave me a good game, one that I have been looking for forever. And now when I test these, I try to make the conditions kind of difficult. I like to play as the Vikings. They're my favorite team, and I think that if you can make a slider set that can make it hard to play as the Vikings, then I think you're on to something. And so I do a lot of tests with the Vikings against the Lions, because I'm noticing that the computer doesn't like to target its outside receivers much. And so when I played against the Lions, Stafford is always dumping it off to Reggie Bush, dumping it off to Joyke Bell, and finding Brandon Pettigrew for 4-yard passes, and it was so uncompetitive. I wasn't scared of Stafford's offense, I wasn't scared of Megatron, really wasn't scared of anything when I was testing a lot of sliders, but I was also doing a lot of editing in the Connected Franchise actual mode, and I guess it makes a difference, guys. I don't know why, but, you know, it's just one of those things, I guess. So I did try armor and swords, and I did have a good time, actually. He gave me, that slider set gave me a good challenge against E.J. Manuel and the Bills. I won 24-21 playing as the Carolina Panthers, and E.J. Manuel almost brought them back in the fourth quarter with a deep ball that Marquise Goodwin dropped while diving, and then T.J. Graham couldn't handle a spinning grab. I'll say there are still plenty of flaws with the game and the AI, but I think Charter's set here that I was testing is a very good set, and it might finally be what I've been looking for. Normally, I like to go to bed between like 11 o'clock, midnight, sometimes a little bit later, but the last couple weeks, I've been staying up late a lot, just grinding out these slider tests and trying to get good results. And it didn't seem like I was making much progress, to be honest. And then, you know, I got really strict about it last night. Like, I'm not going to edit anything in Connected Franchise. I'm going to do everything from the main menu. And I got a very good game with armor and swords. The second game I played with his, I beat the Giants like 38-14 or something. Eli had like 3 picks to Josh Norman, and they couldn't really stop me on offense. I mean, I wasn't really throwing the ball long at all. I was playing my dink and dunk offense, running the ball with D'Angelo Williams. But then I tried out Charters, because I'm like, okay, I want to try out these ones, because these are the ones advertised on the game. I see a lot of people having fun with them. I want to see what they can do for me. And especially because there are certain settings within the slider sets that I don't like to tweak, like speed threshold is one of those things. I prefer to play with it at 50, although I know it's extremely flawed, because I think the game becomes even more flawed sometimes when you lower it and create that speed difference. I mean, when I played as the Panthers on 5 speed threshold, I'd turn Ted Ginn into a legit number 2 receiver, and returning is so easy with guys like Ted Ginn on that threshold as well. I'm not sure if the the blocking has anything to do with that, any of the sliders there, or the penalties. And the penalties do have a major impact on gameplay. I don't know all the effects. I don't know very much about sliders at all. That's why I've had very little success creating my own set. But I tried charters. And now this game I played as the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm going to spoil a little bit for you guys. I do win this game. And both starting quarterbacks were taken out. And so it was me playing as Blaine Gabbert for a lot of the game, although Chad Henne most of the time. And then the computer had Chase Daniel after Alex Smith got injured. And this, to me, is the absolute best football game I have had slider testing on Madden 25, and it's not even close. And I have played 2 games now on this slider set, and I went to play as the Vikings to really give these a test. And I ended up winning that game 22-20 over the Chicago Bears. And that was the game that really brought out some of the flaws in the AI with always targeting the halfback and the tight end. In this game, actually, I have the stats pulled up right now. There is not a single catch on here for a tight end on this sheet that I have. Their leading receiver ended up being Jamal Charles, 5 catches, 52 yards. Well, that's most catches. Leading receiver would have been Josh Cribbs with 4 catches and 80 yards. And now here you see there's actually an offensive pass interference call on Braylon Edwards, which is a very hard penalty to get called. And there's another penalty coming up soon that you're going to really like if you're into realism and just watching how the game unfolds and letting the experience kind of take over. It's going to be really cool here in a few minutes. But Alex Smith left the game, finishing 7 of 10 passing for 125 yards. Chad Henne left 14 of 29, 160 yards, no touchdowns, 2 picks. My picks weren't that good of throws, and that was the penalty right there. That was the unnecessary roughness late hit on Eric Berry, which is a penalty that really gets called as well. But the backups came in. Chase Daniel's stats were worse than Alex Smith's, as you would expect. And then on this deep ball throw to Ace Sanders, actually Eric Berry got hurt, and he actually did injure Justin Blackman on that unnecessary roughness play, but it wasn't major. I had him come back later in the game. But this was a good game, a good challenge from the computer. The way I play against the computer is I try not to cheese it. I let the players I let their ratings kind of dictate the game, especially on defense. I don't user pick, don't user catch. I try to get as realistic games as I can, and I've been looking for a very good slider set this year. And it's not that I've been testing, waiting for the perfect game and the perfect sliders. I've been waiting for a decent game to build off of, and this happened to be a very good game. And the 2 games that I have played with these sliders have been enjoyable, and I did test them heavily with the Minnesota Vikings, which I think is a very tough team to slider test with because of Adrian Peterson and the front 4 they have, and Chad Greenway plays really well in the game as well. And so in this game, you see Jamal Charles run the ball pretty well, especially here late in the game. He finished with 18 carries, 86 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I love that stat line. However, playing as the Vikings against the Bears, hot and cold streaks took over the game. Basically, the Bears had like 4 of their offensive linemen on cold streaks along with Matt Forte, whereas I had some defensive players on hot streaks. And so Matt Forte finished with 7 rushes for -6 yards. So that was an issue, but it could also be an anomaly and kind of just one of those outlying negative games. And you can see me trying to come back here with Blaine Gabbert. He's made some very inaccurate throws, but that was an on-the-money throw to Stephen Burton. And then trying to go long, and Stephen Burton comes through again with the game-tying touchdown with less than 10 seconds remaining. So yes, I did win with the Jacksonville Jaguars in overtime. I'm going to win this game, but I did it with a defensive touchdown against a backup quarterback, a deep ball throw to tie the game, and then had to go to overtime. So you can see what had to happen for me to win this game. I'm going to play more with the Jaguars. The next game on the schedule is against Oakland, but this to me was just my favorite game I've had on Madden 25, and it was really what I was looking for. I was super excited last night. I may be finding the set that I want to play with. I'm going to test it more, maybe make a tweak here and there if I think it's essential. You may find the quarterback accuracy to be too low. I found it to be pretty good for the games that I played. I finished with Blaine Gabbert 9 of 15 for 119 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. Henne was 14 of 29, 160, no touchdowns, 2 picks. In the Vikings game that I tested, Christian Ponder was 16 of 34, 150 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And those stats are kind of in part due to the pressure that they were able to put on me. They had 4 sacks in the game, some inaccurate throws that were just, based on his accuracy ratings and the slider being at 4 for user accuracy. But if you want to get realistic stats and a good balance, I was below 50% passing, just barely with Ponder. It was one game. I'm sure it would have been a lot better. It would feel different had I played with a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees. But in that game with Adrian, by the way, 23 carries, 183 yards, and a touchdown. I busted off, I think, one run of 42 for a score, another run of like 35, 40, and had consistent runs the whole way through. They weren't getting me for any zeros or ones, really. It was all like 3 and up. And so I had very good numbers with Adrian. What I did notice was I wasn't able to really abuse the game with Cordell Patterson. He didn't get a single catch in the game despite starting. He just wasn't getting open against Tim Jennings on me. So I had to find myself throwing it to Kyle Rudolph a lot and Jerome Simpson. And Jennings finished with 3 catches of his own. But against the Bears, throwing against me, Cutler was 28 of 41, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Martellus Bennett ended the game with 11 catches, 117 yards and a score. Forte had 10 catches, 45 yards, no scores. Marshall had 3 catches, 37 yards, and 1 touchdown. And so the ball distribution, 21 completions between Bennett and Forte, and then Marshall, Jeffrey, and Hester finished with 6 combined. Ricardo Lockett had 1. But anyways, guys, I want to tell you guys what the slider set and that the Rams franchise could be coming soon. I'm very excited. I wanted to record this commentary today. I was up till 3 in the morning last night testing these sliders. I think I'm finally onto something. And the time I put in right now is kind of starting to pay off with finding this set and having a fun game. So if you guys want to test these sliders, they are in the description. Make sure you put the settings into the main menu and import them in a connected franchise with your connected franchise set on all Madden difficulty. And play it on normal game speed. Slow game speed is going to make a whole world of difference. The CPU can't really handle it. I think normal is the way to go this year, although slow usually looks better. But anyways, guys, hopefully this is the set. Thanks for watching. See you later.